The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of Worldwide Digital Broadcasting Corporation.
Welcome to your Health and Wellness Hour, sponsored by Luminosity Wellness Center here in Las Vegas, coming to you from the studios of Worldwide Digital Broadcasting. Our goal is to incite and ignite all your senses and curiosities. So sit back, relax, open your mind and your heart, and enjoy the show.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Shay Sisler today with the Luminosity Health and Wellness Hour. And today's guest is Lynda Tourloukis. And I want to just kind of tell you a little bit about how I met Lynda, because my experience with her is full of laughter, actually. And I really enjoy it. We had a mixer here one night, and all of a sudden I hear this lady off in the distance laughing, and I thought, who is that? I've got to find out who that is. And I remember going into the gift shop, and she was in there and just laughing. And I thought, wow, how can somebody be so joyful? So, of course, I met Lynda, and she does the laughter hour here at Luminosity Wellness Center on Friday nights. So I joined Lynda in one of her classes. And I never realized there was so much to laughter. And when you start to learn how you actually can laugh and why you laugh, then it really brings a lot of more joy to your life. So anyway, I'm going to have Lynda introduce herself and tell us a little bit about kind of what she did before laughter. And then we'll talk a little bit about the laughter as we get further into the thing today, the show.
Absolutely. Thank you. And it's a pleasure to be here, and I love Luminosity. So so that's all exciting. And who I am? Oh, it's a student of life. I've been called the Amused Muse. I've been called the Soul Whisperer. And I've been called the Lady with the $200 Underwear by Frontier Airlines.
And why is that? I have to ask. But.
Well, I was doing a speaking engagement, and they lost my luggage, and it had been an extra day, and I still hadn't found the luggage. I wasn't getting anywhere, so I was getting them at a bad time, it seemed, and I couldn't get anywhere to find anybody that would help me. So I looked up online, which I typically do, who was the CEO, and let me connect with them and to let them know that this customer is not getting through anywhere and your company needs a little help. And if you want, here's my card. I might be able to help you a little bit. So I looked them up, and I ended up finally getting a phone number, and it got me to a janitor in Colorado, and where their base operation is. And he heard my story, and I said, look, I have to be communicating tonight, and I'm either going to talk about how this company really supported me and helped me out, or I'm going to say what they didn't do. And I said, your choice. And so he walked me down the hallway, and he was really helpful, and I really did appreciate that. And he got me to one of their executives, and she said, oh my goodness. And so she helped me out, and she said, here, we're going to go to the airport, you're going to pick up a check for $200, and you can buy underwear.
Oh my gosh.
So I think Frontier Airlines has this woman with the $200 underwear. But they did come through, and sure enough, I got the check, and I'd already bought, and my purchases had gone through, and there was my suitcase. So
perfect. So you got it all.
Yes. So yeah. I have a lot of appreciation.
And so now the question is that your meeting that night, or your group that you were talking to, did you tell them how they took care of you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
I did. I said, funny thing.
Yeah, good.
So I introduced myself that way, and then of course somebody goes, what? And then of course it led to the conversation, and there we were. Ha ha ha. So
yeah. What is it you did before Laughter Hour? What was your background?
Well, I am a master trainer with Laughter Yoga Organization. It's a worldwide organization that began in India about 22 years ago. And I started with this simple idea that we were a little too stressed and that we could be a little more blessed. And so when you laugh, you change things immediately. It's like, and all of a sudden you're not there where you were before. You get glad in the same pants you got mad in. So I really, I've loved laughter. I've been doing it all of this decade.
So were you always laughing though? I mean, before you did the laughter, or did you laugh a lot anyway, or is this a natural thing for you, or?
I think I've pretty much been amused most of my life. I haven't always had the situations to be amused at, but somehow I always said something's got to be better than this. And that has been really a point that helped me to step over and find the next thing. So, no, I did not. I've been laughing all my life, and so have you. Everybody has a little laughter in their life, but what we're doing with this is going into a deeper breath, a more elongated laugh. Yeah. It's an exercise, like a cardiac exercise at least, when you do it for 15 minutes, and we move into the diaphragm, which is not only going to change your breath cycle, which will change your life, but it also changes your emotions and the way you look at it, because laughter can be a very emotional exchange.
Yeah. So I know in the class that I went to with, it was like I was surprised because I didn't know what to expect, first of all. So when you go there, we all sat in a group and then we all took turns laughing. And I thought, well, this is kind of weird, but it really, when you start laughing from way down there and pulling up, you see how it's really helping you in the oxygen and what the benefits are for the body when you laugh. But before that, you don't even think about it. You know what I mean? Before that class.
No, you don't, and most people don't. It's a given. Laughter's already in our body. We have it available at any time we want. We don't have to go anywhere to get it. It doesn't cost us anything, and it goes with every outfit.
Yes, hey, that's the best part.
But it's a beautiful thing, and we go and work ourselves out in the gym, and we are physically fit. We study for years, and then we go on to careers, so we get mentally fit. We go and we do prayer, and we do yoga, we do meditation, so we get spiritually inclined. But where do we work that emotion? And so laughter becomes a beautiful thing that most people do not realize is it will bring you to the emotion of joy. And we're not used to that side of our life. We're used to the survival area. And so bringing ourselves into this other part of ourselves is like, oh my gosh, I was designed with joy in mind. I was supposed to be happy.
I know, and we've all forgotten that.
Oh my gosh, happy head slap. Oh my gosh, I was supposed to be joyful. So my motto is we were designed with joy in mind. And it's like, let's reckon with that, okay, a little bit.
I love it. And I have to tell you a funny story because after your class, my sister came down from Utah and I was sitting there telling her about this class and how much fun that I had, right? And so then she asked me, so what did you do? And I said, well, this is what I did. And I says, you know what? And I just started laughing. And my brother-in-law in the back seat's looking at me and says, Shay, what happened? I've never seen you laugh like that before. I said I took a laughing class, but it was so fun. But they were shocked because this is not normal behavior for me.
You're right. Laugh. It's natural.
It's natural, but it's not normal. But when people they're not used to seeing you laugh. When you laugh, there's like something wrong with you.
Yes, I know.
So
here's what we have an exercise, and it's the cell phone laughter, and the whole idea is we exercise what we're doing with laughter. We give it little ideas to just help bring it out a little bit more until the natural laughter comes out and it feels more joyful and delicious in that particular way. But we exercise it to get it there, and sometimes you have to go until you start laughing. And but most of us don't keep that duration going, and we need about 15 minutes of sustained laughter to really make a difference. And the difference I'm talking about is I don't have asthma anymore, and I don't get sick because I've done quite an extensive. Some people will say, "Well, I did laughter for how many years?" But you know what? I may have been doing it all decade, but in this particular professional way. But I realized the intensity of which I did it. I hosted a call where I laughed every day on the phone. And so people called in for 20 minutes and we would laugh. I did many presentations. I've done workshops, retreats, you name it, just to help people to really understand this very powerful thing about laughter that we tend to trivialize. We don't give it much due until we start to see something like this, and all of a sudden another part of our brain evokes, another part of our, our being says, oh my gosh, what have I been living? And I can do this? Yes, you can. Let me be free. Exactly. So.
Yeah, and you ought to see me in the car sometimes on the way here. I'm just laughing, and I know people are looking at me like, what the heck?
Right. Yes.
Because I'm just expanding my lungs and my breath and...
Good for you.
And feeling good.
Good for you, because those people who come in one time, I bless them and I love them for coming in and trying this out. But what happens is it just becomes this entertainment because they
Yeah.
don't keep practicing it. And so those people who come back and practice like I did every day, that's why I have the results I have, because I practice. Anything you want more of, you got to practice.
Right.
It just doesn't
Right.
drop in your lap and you just become like famous and rich and beautiful.
Right, yeah.
But keep laughing at it, it won't matter. And you'll become whatever you are, and you'll love that. And that's what it becomes a beautiful thing about acceptance. It also becomes a place of confidence.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, working with young girls, working with people, just the fact that I already spoke on stage from a leadership perspective from my days beyond that, before I got into laughter. And I already spoke, but when I was up there after laughing, it's like, in one sense, speaking in front of people is like the scariest thing for most people to do. It's,
Right. Yeah, it's worse than
they
death,
say, exactly,
Yeah.
death is number
Scary.
2 when it comes to that. And then we stand up and we're going to have them laugh. Are you kidding? And that's how it feels a lot of the time. But once people get into it themselves, they know how good it feels, and all they do is want to share it with other people so that other people can be doing it, and we can have a better place. It's like I want to live in a place that feels better to be around. That's part of what got me there. I was around people who cried all the time and who weren't
Right.
feeling good and who were kind of depressed, and I thought, there's got to be something better than this. And then
Right.
laughter came along, so it was good. It was good. So
Well, I know there have been a couple of times when I've thought about just laughing, and then we hold ourselves back. Because you're afraid of what other people are going to say.
Oh,
or
yes.
think, you know what I mean? Like, they're going to think I'm weird if I just start laughing. But sometimes you just feel like it.
Right.
And
That's when you
and-
pick up your cell phone. 'Cause that's what I was going to say before is to be just going out and going, feels good. But
you're going to be
people
weird.
are going to go, wait. And they just sort of, they sort of back away.
Yeah.
And then there you are, repelling people. And here's the thing is you pull up a cell phone and you start going, and then people are leaning in. So it's like one has a repelling and one has an attracting factor. So if you
Right.
want to be more attractive, you learn to laugh more. You find the joyous place within it. Come join us on Friday nights. It's free. How better does it get? But
And it is a lot of fun. And I tell
Oh,
you,
yeah.
when you get in the group and you start meeting all the people that are in the group, it is a lot of fun. And
Right.
everybody, that whole energy just rises.
Right.
Because everybody is in that same place and everybody's wanting to laugh and let go and just
Yes.
get all that energy moving. It's
Right.
so fun.
They come in and they're a little unsure, and I recognize that, and I'm patient and I'm good to people.
Yeah.
We don't hurt them. And they come in and I say, okay, so we start with, hey, breathe in. Exhale. Let's see how that looks. And then I give them a little experiment to try, and they go, they find out for themselves. So I call it evidence-based laughter. I want people to understand that you can prove this to yourself. I don't have to prove you anything. And typically I don't. So I just say, here, try this, try that, try that. And they go, me? And it is them. It is them doing all that wonderful stuff.
And Lynda makes you very comfortable when you come to this class. She's very engaging and very warm. I love the energy that she presents everywhere she goes. And I've had plenty of opportunity to work with her here at Luminosity in many aspects of things now. And I just love her presence. And she's just a joy to be around. So, come and join us because the classes are amazing, I think.
Thank you. Thank you.
She also does some training. Don't you do laughter training?
Yes, yes, we have. There's a 2-day training that you can come in, or you can come in for 1 day and explore what we're doing. And I always make that the first day. And the second day, if you want to do the 2-day training, it's really understanding this on a wonderful level because you explore all this stuff about yourself in a beautiful way, because we're not pointing out you're just simply enjoying laughing and realizing things in your body are changing. And we always have this idea about humor that we laugh because of jokes, but we prove we don't.
Right.
We don't have to just be reliant on jokes. We can be self-reliant with our body. And so that's all up in your head. The laughter's in your body. And so we've turned it all around. And some of the experiments and the research and the curious things I've just wanted to play with have just turned it all around and shown me that this is really dynamic, that the body has a wisdom that is teaching the brain. And so when you do this enough and you research it and you pour yourself into it, you find out some amazing things. And so I can then pass that on to people I train or I workshop with, or
Right.
But we do have so that our 2-day training gives you a start, it gives you an idea, and then it gives you an opportunity to go out and be certified and share this with other people in the world and make a difference. And then we have a 5-day training where, because I'm a master trainer, I'm one of the people in the United States, there's 3 that are training people. 2 for the founder, and we're giving them the 5-day so that they can teach other people. Between that, you really got to do some experiment, and you got to get out there and research and share it a little bit, and that helps build your own resilience in it.
Yeah, so I'm just curious, what are some of the things that you do? Because
sure.
I've seen some of your pictures from different events or different things that you're
They're
doing,
good, aren't
and
they?
I'm like, what are they doing?
I know, it's just like, because you know what? Well, one of the pictures you'll see a lot of me is like this. Because see, look at this. The body is crossed and closed, and what's the attitude? You know, you're wearing it all over your face, you're putting it all over your body, but when you start to unfold and unwind, you open up and you are more open, accessible, you are accepting, all kinds of things change. But if you breathe in, and then you exhale with laughter, because that's what we want you to do, is exhale with laughter. It makes breathing fun. So I can laugh on demand, and so my laugh is pretty rich because it goes all the way down to my diaphragm. And most of us are up here or here. And so when you can start to learn to have a resting laugh, you know, we have that resting face, we can have a resting laugh, but most of us stop here. But if we can move it down to the diaphragm, we can change so much of our physiology and so much of the way we look at the world. But it's a practice, it's a development, it's a dedication
to it.
it.
This doesn't come natural.
No, you play with it. I don't work on anything. I play with everything.
Yeah.
So if you can play with it and just say, ooh, could I do this? Could I do this? You know, I'm out in the pool going, But I'm exploring the idea of breathe in, turn, and exhale, twist with laughter, you know? So I'm getting this body region into it and exploring the different things we can do. There's just amazing things you can continue to create. And see, some of my workshops, like I'm going to Sedona shortly, and we'll be doing a laughter in silence, the natural.
So what is that? I can't
Natural.
even imagine. Laughter in silence?
And silence.
Oh, and silence. Okay.
Oh,
'Cause
that's
I'm like, how do
laughter
you
and
laugh
silence,
be silent?
like that.
Yeah, okay.
That's laughter and silence. Okay,
gotcha.
Got it. But we can do that. But the whole idea is to listen. Silence helps us listen.
Okay.
It helps us listen. And if you've laughed and then you listen, you can hear your cellular development happening.
Wow.
And I've done a course every quarter. So I've done the first quarter, we did the physicality of our body, so you can feel the physical changes. And I even had experienced guide leaders who were with us and then just leaped up the mountain, you know, the top of Cathedral Rock. You know, I've got my sandals on and I'm going, okay. And I'm the shortest one in the group, so I'm having to take the running leaps to get up on top of everything. And I'm more feeling the breathlessness of that, and where they're just effortlessly going along. We get to the top, and I'm up there, and then we go to laugh, and they're like,
They're all out of
and
breath.
I'm out there bursting with it. I said, okay, so I found that's another region we're exploring in our lung capacity. So it's really cool to keep exploring and finding out something new. And hey, have we tried that? But we did the physicality of the body, and then the next quarter we did the cognitive side, about how we change our cognitive focus and function and direction from anything, from where our alertness, our attention is, our focus, those things that make us a little more efficient and effective. And then so this quarter that's coming up, September 23rd, 4th, that weekend, we're doing the emotion. So it's a place that I'm taking emotion not from a place that everybody gets scared of, but to what it can possibly do for us when we understand it better. So that's what we're doing with that. And then in January, the first week in January, we'll be doing the spiritual side of it, because indeed there is.
Right.
It's an energetic and absolutely place where you go to inside. And, you know, life is this inside job anyway. And if you can be laughing here, you are bringing up that joyful element.
Amazing.
It is.
So I have a question, because when I some of your pictures, I thought you were in the grocery store, Did you ever go to the grocery store and do something in the grocery store? I'm just curious.
A flash mob, yes.
Yeah.
Well, this is in New Mexico. So
okay.
We were with a group, and we had a conference, and we decided to do a little flash mob. And so we went to I've done several.
Oh, okay.
I've done this all over the world. And so, we've in this grocery store, we were just kind of nonchalantly going about, and then we had a signal, and we all just started laughing, and then everybody started dancing and movement, and people in the store, are like, what are they doing? They are not normal. And we say, right, we are natural and we are free. And it's.
Did any of the people engage with you doing
yes,
that? Or
yes.
They just got into the joy of the moment with you?
Well, like one time in Chicago, there was they had the Blue Line L train, and we had a bunch of teachers come into town from all over the world, and so we were doing a training and a few other things, and so I said, hey, let's try this out. So I called up some of the people I had trained, and I had them get on at different stops, and so I had these people come, and they joined us. They took a bus back over after they just got off the bus. And they came over because they were like stationed at the butt end of O'Hare Field. And I said, we can't have this. I cannot have Chicago represented this way. Sorry, I've lived there and it's not okay. Mm-hmm. So I wanted them to see, the downtown section. I wanted them to see other parts of it. And as you come from South America, you want to know that Chicago isn't the mobsterville that you think it is.
Yeah, because that's what our minds conditioned.
Uh-huh.
To think about Chicago.
So we ended up taking ourselves onto this train, and as people came on, we did all kinds of things. We did exercises, and I found, because I did a trial run the day before with a group of people, you can't be heard giving instructions. So instead, I'm just doing animation, and I'm holding up a little sign, and now... And people who came in, people got onto the train who did not know what to expect because we were all laughing and doing things. And they got on and they just kind of looked at us. So some of the people go, I want to do what you're doing. So we'd give them a clown nose or something, anything.
Right.
And they joined us because we had like balloons and all kinds of things. And we were doing...
Just having fun.
Yeah, we were. Yeah. It was just simple.
I think it's amazing. And what that reminds me of when you do things like that is that movie When Harry Met Sally, and she's just starting to have that, expressing that orgasm sound in the end, and then somebody comes by and they're like, yes. And then they're like, I want what she's got.
Exactly.
That's kind of
people
what
say
the
that a
laughter
lot.
reminds me of, because they come by like, I want to do that, or I want
to. Can I have some of that? Yeah, and I say, yes, come, open, and we leave it open to everybody. So that's the whole thing. And what's really nice is humor can be subjective, and you can't always get the joke, and it's always, and it separates and kind of divides people. But laughter unites them, because what we're doing in this particular way is we're not laughing at anybody. We're learning the beautiful art of laughing with people and being connected to people. So we don't do any of the, the stuff that divides us. And it makes for a better world when we're not having to rely on something else, but except for just using some of our natural ability. We talk about not living up to our potential, but here we are. When we laugh, we start to find there's some potential in there. We had some gifts in there we hadn't explored yet, and it really does. I don't know how many people I know that have gone on to do things they didn't think they could do. So Eleanor Roosevelt, do the thing you think you cannot do. Well, laugh, and you can find more things that you can do that you didn't think you can do. You don't need liquid laughter, that wine stuff.
Yeah, you don't. And laughter is contagious, because I know when I'm around people and they're laughing, and I did watch a video of some guy on a train, and it was something to do with laughter. I mean, he just starts laughing, and all the people on the train at first are just kind of looking and pointing.
Right.
And then pretty soon you see other people start laughing, because it is contagious.
Yes.
And it's just like, it just makes you want to laugh when you're around people who are laughing.
They call that the Bodhisattva and Metro, and it's an old film, but it's a sociological experiment. And so, but everything about it is true, because people will give you the stink eye when you start laughing. Who are you? What are you different? But then if you keep laughing and you find, and he wasn't trying to make people laugh. And he was just enjoying himself, and he was just like trying to contain it. And because he didn't try to make anybody else laugh, it made people laugh. And he was just holding it until finally everybody was just, and then they just burst out, because you can't hold it in. You can try, but that's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is.
It's your joy. Unleash.
Let it out.
Yes,
you just
exactly.
go with whatever, So I love laughter now. I see it in a different light now that we have, I've taken your class, we've talked about it, I've learned a lot about it, and I do feel better when I laugh. So I try to do that when I come in the mornings, because that's kind of my therapy on the way in the car.
Beautiful.
So I have been practicing that. So we are going to take a break here at Luminosity. We're talking with Lynda Tourloukis here today. We're going to come back and talk to her about some of the other things that she's doing, because Lynda is a woman of mystery. So we want to share that with everybody.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you right back in a moment.
Hi, I'm Joe Peroni.
And I'm Heidi Mancini, and we're the hosts of the Rise Above show. Check us out on WWDB.TV on Thursday afternoons at 2 p.m.
Hey guys, I'm Corey Taylor from Corey Taylor Talks. I would love if you would watch my show and a bunch of the other amazing, incredible shows here at WWDBTV.com.
Yeah, we had great laughs. No. All right, Shay here, Luminosity Wellness Center. And again, I'm here with Lynda Tourloukis with the laughter hour that we have here on Friday night. We've just spent the last half hour talking about laughter, but we never did get to find out any of the story of Lynda, where her beginnings started and how she got into that. So I would like to take a few minutes to find out about your history before laughter.
Just a few.
Just a few.
Oh.
And then we're going to talk about some of the other things that you've got going on in your life that are not related to laughter. Well,
Yeah.
I guess everything's related to laughter, but
Yeah, you can use it if you want.
Yeah.
Exactly. So laughter's a beautiful part of ourselves, and I really have enjoyed the opening that it has given me, and I really appreciate it. But I go beyond what like laughter yoga does. I go into the experiment. I've just done that from the get-go because I'm just a curious kid. I wanted to know.
yeah.
And so I really
So were you
explored
always
it.
a curious kid? When you were
Yeah,
young?
I think so.
So
Well, because they told me I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. I was sick a lot. I became very sensitive to allergies when I was really young, and you can't go out there, and you can't do this, and you can't. So I think it just sort of boiled underneath me, and you can't do this. I just kept saying, yes, I can, yes, I can, yes, I can. And so I would go find ways, and, it's like even as an adult, I would find people tell me they can't, and I realized there were certain people who were just going to give me a hard time, and they were going to go into the drama, and then they were going to waste my time. So I would just simply go do it and return with the results, and then I would tell them about what I was going to do, and as soon as they started with the opening of their mouth, they can't, and I'd say, here it is. So I just got tired of the inefficiency, that people go to.
And that's one of the things I've learned about you. It's like, don't waste my time.
Yeah.
Because if you can't, then I don't want to hear about it, because I want people who can and get things done and just go, go, go. And that's the way you are.
Oh, good.
So
You picked that up.
Yes. Have you always been that way?
No.
Even from when you were young, is that something you've grown into?
I've been an interesting child. I'm the second oldest of how many are there? There's 7, and then we have some in-laws, and we have some stepsister, and some so it just goes on and on. But I'm kind of the second oldest in the basic tribe of 7, and so it was a hard life.
Yeah.
And for our whole family, it wasn't your sweet happy upbringing that I would have laughter with. But I think as kids you become resilient and laugh through it.
And so where did you grow up? Where were you born?
Illinois.
And
Yeah.
So what brought you out here, or?
Oh, Mom.
To live with Mom? Okay.
Well, my mom has lived out here for 20 years, and she moved out here then with her husband, and they decided to make a new life in somewhere dry and capable. And so after he passed, she still liked the climate enough to stay, and so now she's getting older, and I came out here to
help her.
For about 3 years I was coming out for a couple of months at a time and spending time with her, but then I started realizing that she's not in this position she was in.
Right.
And so being around just makes her feel more
Better,
emotionally stable and comforted, and she's willing to do a lot more. So, and I have the time to do that. So I realized I'm probably I'm migrating to a more permanent status here for Laugh Vegas and such.
Laugh Vegas.
But yes. But getting back to your question though, I didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up, so it took me many years to figure that out, and I became a mom, and I loved that. And my kids, my best teachers, I have 3 of them. And so my little wisdom Buddhas, they've given me some life experience that I really, really needed to have. And I got into, and I was working in management, and somehow I've always been a leader. I've always been pulled to do the thing that necessarily nobody else wants to do. And so part of me has just been, just do it because it's the right thing to do and it's good for all. And so that's been something that I think has been part of me and that I didn't even realize existed. I just did things.
Right.
And,
everybody comes in with an innate tasks or abilities that they have, and that's probably one of yours, just to be a leader.
Yeah.
It comes in innate. You don't know where it comes from. It's not something you have to develop. It's just part of who you are.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've found myself in leadership positions all the time. So management sessions, I used to, work with corporations, and I was sort of a natural to say, okay, this isn't working, let's go this. And I would just sort of narrow it down for people and shake the foundation a little bit.
And it was shake the foundation.
It was sort of scary for them, but I actually made it fun and said, well, we could do this and we could do that. And that was kind of a natural part of myself coming out going, well, I see this and I see that. And I got into leadership by way of just taking some courses going, well, what would be better than this? And my mom had said, here, take this course. And she said, you're a natural. And so I took the course, and lo and behold, I became the director of the whole Midwest section, and it really it changed.
Of the laughter?
No.
Else?
This is leadership.
Leadership. Just leadership.
Yes. This is this was leadership courses in learning your own personal responsibility for yourself. I mean, that's all leadership really is personal responsibility. So self-development, personal success, and this was years ago, and I got sort of thrown in because I like to play. And so they said, wow, she's got an amusing angle about the way she does things. And
you see, because you don't typically put fun and leadership in the same basket in a lot of cases. I mean, I come from a leadership background also, but it wasn't fun. I shouldn't say it wasn't fun.
It
seemed to be a
lot
more
of drama.
business.
It can be a lot of drama because it helps you know yourself, and so you have to go through these layers of emotion that we don't really understand, and we really want to understand them more. And I think that there is, when you start taking responsibility, you become more free. And so people don't understand it. They think responsibility is a heavy load, and they're not supposed to. We want to keep it ourselves away, but they're doing the very one thing that will help them actually become free and successful. And everything they do is by taking things on and understanding them, and learning a little bit about that, asking questions, finding out. And I realized in leadership, people would go woo in these courses, and then they would go. So this regression was what bothered me, and I thought, So I got into coaching, which was at the forefront of what coaching was about at the time, and I started changing some of that. I said, this is getting kind of serious. And I somewhat intuitive, and I'm an empath, and so I feel a lot of things. And so I got some very interesting clients that way, that were sometimes out of the headlines, and I just didn't know, like, wait a minute, where's all this coming from? So I had that, which opened up a lot in leadership, and it really came together to just really serve me purposeful in a way that helped bring me to service. To bring everything I did was about the service that I'm rendering humankind also served me.
Right.
And that's the one thing we forget.
We do forget that.
If I could find that place that brought me my sense of ability, then I could absolutely be the credibility that gave and helped others. And so in coaching, I just developed all kinds of things that I used, and one of the tools was the Labyrinth. And so I know you're really pretty fascinated.
Yes, I am fascinated. In fact, I bought a book recently about Labyrinths, and I haven't read it yet. And so I am, and that's why I asked you the other night. I want to sit down and talk to you sometime about the Labyrinths, because I'm fascinated with the Labyrinths.
Well, I coach the Labyrinth, I share the Labyrinth, I present it, I design them. I've designed thousands of designs. I'm a member of the Labyrinth Society. This year I created the 365 experience, where I wanted to take the wisdom that I kept seeing get so deep and rich from the Labyrinth Society and share it and have them share it. Well, most of it I'm doing this year. So I realized that at the gathering, we're going to have an annual gathering in the fall. I'm hoping to present it fully utilized and even if it's all my so many of my submissions, so that we can start gathering it. I think they just needed to see what I was talking about, and so I just happily created it. And the stuff that came out of my my creativity is endless. I can come up with anything on a dime.
She does. She has an amazing mind, and it's like every time I talk to her, she's got these amazing ideas about everything.
Right. And ideas I
yeah.
can put to use, because there's ideas that are out there, but if you can take your idea and put it into a concrete form so people can actually use it and benefit by it, then you're doing something useful.
Yeah.
So that's what I realize is the big difference for me. So, but the Labyrinth becomes a tool of inner
So I was going to say, what
understanding.
is the Labyrinth for? What would somebody use or go to a Labyrinth for?
Well,
For those who don't know
I know.
about them.
Well, so they often get it confused with a maze, and a maze has many different openings, and the different openings in the mazes are allowing you to find decisions, choices, but they kind of come up and they're rather abrupt, and so we can find a lot of fear in the maze, but we can find a lot of peace in the Labyrinth because it only has one path, and when in that one path, it's a unicursal path that'll take you in to a center point and then back out again. Some of our contemporary designs might have a second opening, and that is they have a purpose in it. So when it has a purpose in it, then it can still be categorized as a labyrinth. Now, I wish we had a design, but maybe we'll find one.
Yeah.
But the design of it is to have you spiral inward. And as you're spiraling inward, you're finding this center, but you're traversing left and right, kind of through your left and right brain, left, right. And so as you keep coming into a center, you're spiraling in there. So by the time you get to the center, you have released, relaxed your muscles, your blood pressure, your stress, all kinds of things that are happening, and we've done some studies on this. So they become very more calm and centered when they come to the center. And then when you walk back out, we have three analogies. Release as you go in. By the time you come into the center, you have cleared out a lot of stuff, so you can open your mind to say, well, what do I want? So you can receive and be open, learn to be a receiver. And then as you walk back out, you can reflect on what that all meant. You start to see metaphors, you start to see synchronicity, you start to understand that this path is very narrow, so you learn to focus. There's so many things that you can manifest in there, and it doesn't all have to be this quiet, peaceful walk.
Well, that's what I was asking. Do you go in there in a meditation state? Do you set an intention before you go, or you just...
Yeah, let's hold everybody capable and say, just do what you want to do. Find your own way, find your own path, start your foot and start moving. And once you do, it's your journey. It's nobody else's.
So it
can't
doesn't
be.
matter.
No, if I'm leading a workshop or a retreat or something like that, where it's a guided walk where we have an intention set for it, we are going after certain things and there are certain instructions we may give. The other parts are when you find one and you in your community, the Worldwide Labyrinth locator is found on both the labyrinthsociety.org sites, and it's also found on the Veriditas, the teaching facilitation side. And so they've shared responsibility for putting that out, and people who have created labyrinths around the world are located in there. So, and they're not all located in there either. So there's a lot more than you will find.
You'll find, yeah, because you recently told me that you found one that, I don't know, maybe it wasn't listed in there, but you...
Yeah.
How many are here in Vegas? How many labyrinths?
I believe I found 9. I think there's 10.
Wow.
Well, there's a secret one because I was painting one outdoors. I won't tell you where because and it bled through, and I went, oh, look at that, we have a secret labyrinth.
Interesting.
And I covered it responsibly, but it leaked through, so I went, oh, look at that. And I was going to cover it up, and I thought, no, let's let someone come upon this and find it. And that's the whole point. It's not where you lose yourself, it's where you find yourself. So I have coached that, and sometimes, for an example, people will come in and they'll sit down and they're full of their busy day and I don't want them to waste their time. So I say, tell you what, I'll put a finger labyrinth. This is just a design in wood or plastic or whatever you know, even on a piece of paper. And I'll put it in front of them and I'll say, breathe in, and now put your finger in there and just follow the path with your finger. And it's very effective. And so I said, I'll be right back. And I walk out. By the time I'm back there, I go, So here's why I'm here today. And I just loved how it just cut through a bunch of stuff and just got people to the point. So
wow.
I've used it. I've had clients work with it that have said, "Oh, I got chapters of my book finished. Oh, I had this
good.
idea." And then I also play with it. I have created, like one of I had to create on the spot, which everybody loved, was the toilet paper labyrinth, because we were at a conference. There was a beehive, a swarm of bees coming out, and I had to do something on the spot. And there was somebody had cried in the last, so somebody brought a great big industrial sized roll of toilet paper, and and when they were handing her a piece, I said, "Oh, no." So I had the whole I took the whole thing and wrapped it so everybody could cry with her, and it was much more therapeutic and helpful. And then it was sitting by my foot. So I'm looking around going, what can I use? What can I use? And I looked down and went, oh, toilet paper. And so instead of putting the pieces out, they might tear, I was just kind of doing reams of it and tie it together.
Yeah.
So I was sitting there listening to the woman, and everybody's looking at me, and I'm just making these piles and piles. And at the end, I said, there'll be a 10-minute intermission, and then when you come back in, we'll get started. And so the toilet paper labyrinth was born.
Yeah, that worked.
But I've created them on trampolines. I've done the most fun was the bubble wrap labyrinth, where we played, and it was a lot of fun. So I love the labyrinth, and I continue to find uses for it. I continue to find new designs, and I have a new design coming up, which I created, that's taking an old myth or an old maze that has been used, and it's using it for this more feminine principle. And we call it a feminine lunar instrument because it follows, some of the designs will follow the lunar calendar. And so it has, I think if you put a labyrinth in schools and you show them the geometry, you will find just about every math principle is in there. So you might have kids loving math because they can see relatable experiences within the labyrinth, and it's a really cool idea.
Oh, wow.
But this new one I'm having, it takes a lot of the myth of man, and it's emerging a woman. And so I've done something that I think it's almost sacrilegious, but it's not. It's about time. Because I think, some of the work I'm doing, helping people to realize their lives are full and meaningful, and that we have a potential we might not have tapped into. So I have designed quite a number of games. I have 30-day games that help with emotional learning. I like to help educate people to what emotions can possibly do for you, as opposed to just keep being rolled by them. And I help people experience them and show them different ways through play, because I love to play with life. And I realize if you're just playing with life, you really don't get too bent out of shape by it. You say, well, somebody hands you on 3 o'clock on Friday afternoon and says, here, take care of that.
Okay.
Your face goes down, your whole body goes down. But if somebody,
there goes my weekend.
and if they walked up to you and said, play with this, what would happen?
Oh, I'd go figure out something to do fun with it. You know?
And you'd get
but it
more
wouldn't be
done.
Drudgery. Yeah.
So I think in all the things that I do, play has become the one thing that I realize I've done all my life, and I love. And I created many games with my children growing up, because 2 of them had what was called learning disabilities, but I just called it learning different, because they
learn different.
They're both graduated from school, and they're both. My son is a facilities manager. My daughter is living the dream she wanted to dream, is help inner outer beauty, and so I realized they're
Well, we put these labels on children because they're different, because we think everybody should be the same, but they're not. You just learn to get around that. And find ways that they learn better.
They showed me
what we need to do more with the people and children in the world anyway.
Right. But we have to start with ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing, is we want to take care of this person and that person, but the whole point is when we can take care of ourselves, the world will, and if everybody did that, we'd have a really great place to live in. We'd all be laughing.
It'd be a heck of a lot more fun, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
So where do you share those games that you've you've made or put together?
Well, now that I'm out here, and I've shared them all over. When
Okay.
I travel, I've traveled to workshops, to conferences. I've traveled to different internationally. Whenever I'm invited, come and play a game with our organization. So corporate work, the teamwork that they're not doing, the efficiency they want to find more of, the reality of what's going on. I help all with that. But I can do that with a family too. Why aren't we getting along? Let's do this. So I've used my leadership and coaching background that really have given me human life components to it, and I've added this idea of play. And I've, exercised laughter with people, and I show them this metaphor of life in the labyrinth. And so I've put all of these things together into these programs. And, now that I'm out here, I'm developing some new things, but I'll be here at Luminosity Wellness Center offering all kinds of
things, different things coming up.
Yes.
So Lynda, where does your life go from here? What's your intention? What are you hoping to do? What are you hoping to do with your life as you come out here in Las Vegas?
Well, first I wanted to take care of my mom, and I wanted to, as much as I could, be of assistance to her, because I'll tell you, doing nothing is important. Helping her to do her own thing is important, to keep her own maintenance about what she's can do, as opposed to me doing it all for her. So I recognize that, and I really appreciate that we're having a different relationship at this age of life, and I think a lot of one of the big missions for me in the world is I grew up in not a great relationship of family, and it was hard on all of us, because my dad was just a different person who was really in pain somewhere and really didn't know how to deal with it, and who did in that time.
Right.
And, I think he probably did the best he could, but it damaged a lot of us, and we didn't know how to function. So, when you have those situations, you can either sink or swim. And for me, I just wanted to know, well, how does this get better? This can't be what life is about. These people over here are happy, and I'm not feeling that. How do I feel that? And so the curious child in me has just wanted to know a little bit more. And so I've just been opening and knowing that I had this mission of service in me, but not knowing.
And just discover.
I realized if I look back in my life, those are the things that I have had that have really shaped and pulled things together for me. So I think it's the potential of humanity. And when I look at that bigger global, because when we stop just having to take care of ourselves or our small groups and families, we start thinking globally about how it's all impacting us and how everything we're doing is impacting. So I realize I grew up with 4 generations of family members, female family members, that have known rape and have known domestic violence. And I said, I have to do something, because I don't want this 5th generation to come in thinking this is humanity.
Right.
So if I can do something different with what I'm doing and sharing and putting out, that maybe that can make a difference in the world. And I had to justify laughter. Here I'm laughing, and I find crime and all kinds of things going on in the world. But I realized, you know what? I'm laughing, and I'm doing something different, and so I'm elevating.
Yes.
So I'm playing, and I'm doing that. I'm using the labyrinth and waking people up to things. I'm coaching people and giving them new language to use and new ideas to think about, and to change some of that. So in all of this package, I realized that humanity is looking, we talk about a oneness, but we don't really live it. And we have pretty much a condition of the way we've lived life. And when you laugh and play with people, you start to see the condition really show itself. And I realized we have this condition we have just been kind of just surviving in. And when you look at most of humanity, you will see that. But you see some great, interesting examples of people thriving, and you start to feel that the world is changing and it wants to know that. And you can feel that the veils are lifting and it's getting lighter to be a person now.
Yes,
and even in spite of all of that, we're all curiously saying, wait, what dimension are we in? We're starting to ask questions about how much farther we can be, and starting to open the blinders we had. So in the work that I do, I realize that one thing, aggression is the biggest issue in the world, but I realize that women don't know how to become the women. They're talking about it, they're making circles, but I would like to see that we come to this unity place with using the best of what women can offer and what men. And we've lived in a patriarchal society where men are starting to wonder about their own position in it, and we don't want to scare them. I think they're important. I think they have to do what they have to do, but women have to stand up into something, and without being defiant, and we don't know how to do that all yet.
Right.
So this feminine rising I've been working on is bringing this gentler side and bringing the stewardship, not the leadership, the stewardship, the caring about how we lead in the world, and bringing those gifts of women so that we can bring them out and make the world a little bit better in that. So I dabble in everything, but it's called life, and it's the potential of life, and that's what I'm.
So if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, how's the best way for them to contact you? Or
well, right now I'm my website has got it all on Laughter Yoga Life, but I am going to change that, so it will be. But you'll be able to find me from that point.
All right. Well, right now I know we can find Lynda through Luminosity Wellness Center. You look on there, any meetings or activities or group things that she's got going, you'll be able to find those listed there, and you'll be able to join us. So
yes.
Yeah.
Come out and laugh with us.
So,
it's free on Friday nights. Next week we'll be doing a training in laughter. You'll love it.
Great. Well, I want to thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Lynda, for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you here, and I love working with you, so I'm going to continue working with you. I know we work on the website together, and we do a lot of other things, so it's a lot of fun. So this is Shay with the Luminosity Wellness Center Wellness Hour, and I appreciate y'all for watching today. Thank you.